Good morning, everybody. As mentioned, my name is Steve Baker, IT Director at DTE Energy, and I have the great pleasure of also serving as an elected official in the city of Berkeley, Michigan, which is a suburb just to the north. And so I greatly appreciate the value both from the infrastructure side as it pertains to energy sector, as well as the municipal sector. The kinds of problems that we face, the kinds of questions and challenges that arise are very similar in terms of providing services. Now, when I think about the theme for today's discussion here is around breaking down the silos. And one of the silos that we have is between, we are the ones between us and lunch. So hopefully you can make it through that silo one more time here for a few more minutes. Now at DTE Energy, we look at our work through our aspiration. And our aspiration is to be the best operated energy company in North America and to be a force for growth and prosperity in the communities where we live and where we serve. Now, I could spend a lot of time talking about the best operated part. We need to be a good energy company. We need to be reliable. You need to be able to count on us with affordable rates and reliable power, quick service, those kinds of things. That's important. But equally important to that is the way in which we can contribute to and give back to and be a part of the vibrant community. That's what we're here to talk about today. That's what I'm very happy to speak to of the work that we're doing at DTE to help break down different kinds of silos. So the first kind of silo that I'd like to talk about is our role in the city itself, our role in Detroit. So we have a series of buildings, a little campus, and our employees could drive in and do their thing and then go back home or something like that. And that's a successful model for a lot of folks. But we think there's so much more that we can and should do to help be a part of our neighborhood and a part of the city. If you're familiar with our campus, if you've had a chance to either see it as part of the press tour or one of the tours coming up after lunch, you'll see that we have our downtown facilities. We just recently acquired one of the buildings across the street, the Salvation Army building. And we saw that it was vacant, abandoned for many years, and we said, well, we can do something about this. This is literally just across the street from us. Let's buy this property, let's clean it up, renovate it, activate this, put it to use as an asset for the city. We thought that was great. We're on the process of doing that now. And we'll actually be taking occupancy of this before the end of the year to make it a viable part of our corporate family. And then over time, to release this or find a new way to work within the city itself. Now, I mentioned another kind of silo is our employees and just feeling constrained or confined inside of our building. One of the things that we strive to do is provide them with ways to get out and about. So we partnered with the Zagster folks to provide us with bikes so we can ride around the city, get some lunch, see a little bit more than just the view out your window. And also a way to get us out is to bring food trucks. So everybody loves the food trucks around here. We have food trucks twice a month through the spring, summer, and early fall. Again, to get our employees out, to kind of break down that silo of just sitting at your desk and thinking about stuff, just to get out, interact with your colleagues, interact with neighbors, other companies, have their folks come and be a part of this as well. Another kind of silo that we break down is the way in which we have our role with the city itself, and the ways that we can help. So here we see Faye Nelson. She's the former president of the Detroit Riverfront Conservancy, and she's now our president of the DTE Foundation and vice president of public affairs. And recently we had an opportunity to partner with the city to help out with the lighting authority. Now, of course, that I mentioned earlier with the energy company, we have an opportunity to help make sure that this infrastructure works right. All 88,000 of these streetlights need to be reliable and safe. That's something that we can do to help, and we're proud to be a part of this partnership. Another kind of silo that we can talk about is this notion of preserving our big data just for ourselves, right? We have all this information, we have this knowledge about our assets in the field. We're a very capital-intensive business, so we have all this information about the state of our equipment, the state of our weather patterns and things like that, and there are others that can benefit from that, and we could benefit from them. So one of the things we did is formed a partnership with IBM to this thing called SERI, S-E-R-I, the Smarter Energy Research Institute, and that's a partnership with us, with IBM, with Alliander in the Netherlands, and Hydro-Quebec out of Canada, to share ideas, to share information, to share models, and to see how we can improve the industry, the state of the art in what we do. The specific thing that we focus on is around outage detection and prediction. And so we take some really complex weather models and harvest that big data through some complex analytics using, again, they have like 1,000 PhDs in IBM or something that are helping us with this. It's kind of cool. And looking at this along with the state of our assets. So we have a real interesting asset model so that we can predict not only where the weather events will be, but based on our information about the assets that we have, we can then stage the right kinds of equipment and the right kinds of crews to restore service that much quicker for our customers in a safe way for our employees. So another kind of silo that we want to talk about for just a moment is providing information access to our customers. And so you may have heard about things called smart meters and that kind of stuff. So we're in the process of rolling out the smart meters, which give us operational efficiencies, but we think from a force for growth perspective, it really helps our customers understand better about their energy consumption, the kinds of things that they do, and the decisions that they make along the way in using energy at their home. We've recently rolled out a pioneering new application called DTE Energy Insight. And the Energy Insight app provides real-time information to our customers so that they can see exactly what's going on in their home. We've done some other pretty cool features in there with gamification and statusing and communities and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. But the silo that I'd like to talk about that we broke down here was the do-it-yourself silo. So we have an IT department with incredibly capable talent and a variety of skills, but we thought about, well, let's partner with this one. Let's reach out to the local area. We tried to strive for Michigan and Detroit region first to source our work for things like this, with some great partnerships with local talent and technology firms to help us develop this app and the related technology in order to make this happen. So that's another one of the silos that we're really proud to be able to tackle around just going it alone, doing your thing. We think there's a lot of value in learning and creativity and innovation in sharing and partnering with one another. Another kind of silo that we're taking down is leveraging the notion of just our own private assets for our own private use. And when we think about the equipment that's necessary to make these smart networks work, you know, that information that goes from your smart home, the meter reading and all that kind of stuff, it has to go somewhere. It has to travel through a network to get to someplace else so that it can be processed and analyzed and those kinds of things. Well, we could look at that asset as a fixed asset that we've put together, but we also think about it in terms of an opportunity to create a broader canvas, a broader landscape for us to help and learn and grow and share with one another. So this is a thing called the Tropos network. You'll hear a little bit more about that from Russ in a few minutes. What I'd like to point out is the fact that this is a great opportunity for us. This is a great silo that we'd like to see what we can do with, to say, how could we leverage this thing? How could we leverage this for the notion of like first responders or something like that, to give other kinds of workers access to a connection, a network to help them do the kinds of things that they need to do and to share the kind of information that we want to share. So we think that that's an important part of something that we can work on and move forward with to help us with this kind of thing as well. The last kind of silo that I'd like to cover here is the notion of the smarter cities. We've read a lot about that. There's some tremendous material here and some very talented folks that have incredible stories to tell that are here in this room. I look forward to learning and listening to those folks the rest of today and tomorrow as well. And our small piece of that story is the kinds of things that we can do from a DTE perspective with the electric system. We hinted at that a moment ago between the smart meters, the smart infrastructure, the kinds of things that we can put as part of our distribution network to help ensure that, that we know what's going on and we can help predict and restore more quickly the kinds of outages and assets that we need to manage. But we also see from the communication system and from the natural gas systems, because DTE provides both electric and gas product offerings, to use these systems in new and interesting ways as the hub or as the connection to a smarter city, right? The collection of interconnected systems that can exchange information. So if we look at this canvas here between the transit systems, the security systems, the recycle and waste management systems, water and sewage, those kinds of things are all necessary networks that communicate information in order to provide products and services that we in the cities depend upon. What if those systems were smart and able to talk to one another, could exchange information, and we could learn from the collective, the gestalt of all of that? That's powerful stuff. And when we think about the kinds of partnerships that we can form and have formed and will continue to form, we think about the kinds of silos that we're looking to break down. We think about the ways that DTE can and should continue to be a force for growth, not only in Detroit, but in all of our service territories. We're real happy with what we've done. We've got a long way to go. We think from the efforts around helping with the city, the kinds of things that we do to encourage our employees to live, work, and play downtown, partner with other cities or other businesses within our city. There's a great road ahead for us. We're really proud to be a part of that. And to be here in Detroit is a tremendous gift for us. We're very thankful for that. And that's what I had to share.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
So we're going to ask Russ Vanos to join us, Senior Vice President at Itron. This is the company that provides DTE with the enabling technology beneath the surface, so to speak. We wanted the second geek to really give you an opportunity to understand what's beneath the surface of what you've just seen. Russ, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, Gordon. It's very exciting to be the one standing between you guys and lunch. I'm really impressed there's this many people still here, at 10 minutes to 12, but I figured it out. It's lunch that's just outside those doors. So I have 8 slides in 10 minutes that we're going to get through here very quickly. You heard from Stephen, and Itron is proud to be a partner, technology partner to DTE Energy in helping them modernize their grid. And we've been working with them over the last 20 years, but working specifically over the last 5 years on that modernization program. And so we're automating and putting in smart meters across the state, across their territory for gas and electricity. We're also proud that we've worked with the city of Detroit, and we've automated all those water meters as well. And so when you think about building smart cities, when you think about some of the things that Stephen talked about, and when you think about a lot of the conversation that went on here this morning, it's about innovation, it's about collaboration, it's about connectivity, it's about thinking differently. Well, Detroit, all the conversation this morning was about how Detroit is so different and how Detroit has a unique problem and a unique opportunity. You're also unique in another way in that you are one of the rare cities of the world that's actually taken action and begun to automate electric, gas, and water meters. And so when you think about building a smart city and when you think about building this sustainable future that we can all get behind and get supportive of, how do we do that? I mean, it's something we all get excited about, but there's one problem with that. Like, where do I start and who pays for it, right? So I want to change the conversation a little bit to sort of talk about that, because at Itron, we think that there's 3 or 4 key initiatives, key traits that we have to build this sustainable city, this smart city of the future. You guys have it here in Detroit. We've heard from the speakers this morning about visionary leadership. We've heard about collaboration and cooperation. We've heard about sharing information. We've heard about innovation. And we've heard about a willingness to make decisions and move quickly. Those are all requirements that we believe in as well in terms of moving forward and creating this sustainable future. We believe, honestly and passionately, that the way we manage energy and water really is going to shape the next century. If we think about the past century and what got us here today, we went through a manufacturing era. We've gone through this technology boom where we have lots of technology. In fact, the challenge about creating this sustainable future, this challenge about creating a sustainable city, it's not a technology challenge. We have tons of technology. We just have to figure out how to apply it, and we have to really think outside the box and innovate, collaborate on how we might do that in terms of creating a sustainable future. At Itron, the center of all that starts with energy and water and the way we use it. And in Detroit, you're unique because you actually have accomplished that. So that gives us a platform and an opportunity now to do some things and take advantage of some opportunities that don't exist in other cities or are only beginning to come to fruition in many cities around the globe. I'm not talking about North America, I'm talking about around the globe. And if we don't take advantage of it, it's a shame. It will have been a missed opportunity, just like the things we talked about this morning around talent acquisition. Just like the things we talked about this morning around innovation. If we don't take advantage of this ability to really gather information around the way we consume, deliver, use energy and water, so electricity, gas, and water, and help make this a smarter city and share information, then we will have had a lost opportunity. And it's really just like the statement this morning about how can you not take advantage of the 75% that are here? How can you not have an oil field in your backyard and take advantage of that? I feel the same way about energy and water. And for me, at least, it all begins with the network. So when you think about, okay, this is great, we want to collect all this data that we can deliver to these guys who are going to deliver all these wonderful applications. That's great, but how do we do that? How do we get everything connected? How do we begin to gather that data and bring it back in? For us, it all starts with the network. So at Itron, we build and install automated electric, gas, and water meters, and then we build networks that go on top of that to bring data back from electric, gas, and water meters. And we pay for that network out of loss, out of waste, eliminating waste and eliminating losses, both on the electricity side and the gas and water side. So we get rid of waste that is costing the utilities, the city Department of Water, as well as DTE Energy, but we also get rid of waste that we are all experiencing in our homes and that we experience in our businesses and commercial facilities. So let's build a network, let's pay for that through our utility cost savings, let's automate our meters, let's begin to bring that data back. More about data on the electric and gas and water side in a minute. But now what we have in place is a network and an infrastructure to collect data. And we can use that network now that's been paid for in terms of efficiencies in the electric side of the utility or the gas or water side to do other things that have been talked about today that you'll see on your tours this afternoon and that we'll talk about more tomorrow. Things like, since I have a network there and I'm reading the gas and water meters, why don't we control the stoplights? Why don't we automate the street lights? Now, we probably wouldn't do that everywhere, but there'll be places where there's a business case or where there's a need to gather data. And once we start to begin to connect everything and bring it together, which is where we start with the network, how do we pay for it? We're going to pay for it through the use of analytics and information. We're going to take all that data and we're going to begin to analyze it, collect it, and most importantly, share it. So you saw this app demonstration, the hackathon that went on earlier today. What a great use of all this data that is now available at the city and in DTE Energy. We just have to begin to share it. So think about the way you interact with DTE before some of you probably don't have meters automated yet because they're still doing that. A lot of you don't live in Detroit. You may live in cities where they don't have meters automated. The way that works today, the way you interface with your energy utility or perhaps your water utilities, you just use it and you don't think about it, whether it's electricity, gas, or water. You just use it and about 45 days later you get a bill. And if it's like my house where I had 3 daughters home for the summer from college, I get that bill and it's $200 higher because guess what? They shower in the morning, they shower at night, you know, they iron everything, they're on the computers nonstop, they leave every light in the house on. I don't know about it till 45 days later. It's a little late to take action. When we automate metering, when we automate the data collection of electric, gas, and water meters, I read that meter every 5 minutes, every 15 minutes, every hour. And today we're very focused on working with DTE and utilities around the world to provide that information to them to help them modernize their grid, help them modernize their water system. And that's what they're all doing. DTE will become a very efficient, very well-run utility because of the advantage they have having all that information. They'll be able to know that transformer is overloaded and I need to take care of it before it blows because they're getting this data and this information. They'll be able to know that theft is occurring in this specific area and I need to go look at it. The water department the same way. We'll know about leaks before they actually burst and cause a problem in the streets. But what's not happening today is we're not sharing that information with all of you. We're not sharing it with the guys who are doing the hackathons. And if we actually began to share information and then we married the energy and water usage with other things like traffic flow, weather patterns, what's going on in the climate, we could actually begin to change the dialogue and have meaningful actions occur because we gathered data, we brought data together, we gave it to applications that are running on mobile phones. You saw good examples of that. We're running it through data analytics. Christine talked about the things they do at Valor with data analytics around water. We also have applications that deliver information and insights to city employees and city leaders. You may not know the biggest user of electricity in Detroit is actually the manufacturer, and I did say manufacturer, the production and delivery of water. It's the biggest user of electricity. And you probably don't know that the biggest user of water is the production and delivery of electricity. So we have this intersect, this nexus of energy and water going on where they affect each other. If I can save water, I will save electricity. If I can be more efficient, more resilient on electricity and water, they impact each other. That's true of running the utility. That's true of building a sustainable city that attracts new students, new governments, new businesses. It's really building the kind of future that I want to live in, that I want to live for my kids and my grandkids, frankly. So these insight applications give utilities, give city leaders access to information they've never had before. We also then, once we build that network, we have the ability to deliver services like intelligent lighting, like EV charging stations. Stephen talked about all that. So, in conclusion, I want to change the conversation. We're going to go to lunch now. Let's all think about this. Managing energy and water will shape the next century. At Itron, we believe it. We get up every single day. We go to work with a passion around that. You have an opportunity here in Detroit to take advantage of something that's very, very special. It starts with innovation. It starts with collaboration. Conferences are like this are wonderful because they enable it. Have a great lunch. Look forward to joining a bunch of you on a tour, workshop tour number 2 this morning. Thank you, Jesse.